Floss Tube, it's Jen, also known as Quirks and Stitches. It has been a bit, again, I said that with getting my new phone, it wouldn't be so long in between, but then I still took a whole lot of time in between. I have set myself up today, which is not typical. Generally Brandon will help me out, but he is asleep, and even though he said I could wake him up to have him come and help me, I decided I wouldn't. So I'm taking advantage of a day off. I'm in my craft room. It's kind of a mess. It's still a work in progress, like most of my house is, but it's dark in here, and so I've got like my ring light up, but then it was reflecting off my glasses, and I had to put my glasses on because the bags under my eyes are ridiculous, and I just I can't really get myself all straight. So I just wanted to get some routine back in here. I have so much to show. I've been putting stuff aside, and I don't even remember. I had to watch my last video to be like, did I show this already or did I not? And I had a lot of finishes, and I ended the year and I didn't do a WIP parade, and I was feeling bad about that, but I actually have a plan for that, so I don't feel bad about it anymore. But I think if I did this more regularly, the setup part wouldn't be so hard. I can't tell you how many times I started and stopped and just tried to get my vibe going and just couldn't. But, life is craziness right now. Just what it is. So, but it's been good. We've really, I think, found our comfort at home, and really we've embraced our basement. We took the door off our basement, so now it feels like an extension to our house, because our house, I know I also promised you guys a tour when we moved in, and it's been almost a year now. I can't believe that we've been in here almost a year. But our house is like a rancher, and the basement is almost fully finished, but there's a door to it, and so we've been keeping the cats out of it, and we have like furniture down there, and our guest room is down there, but it's not really felt like part of our house. And recently we ended up just deciding we had to put some money into making it part of our house. So I bought another like coffee setup, so I have a Keurig bar down there now, and we got a crazy ice maker that my husband was really excited about, that I actually really love, but it was kind of a crazy impulse buy for us frugal people typically, although my stash says otherwise, so maybe not. But we're really getting it to where it's going to be. So we've got like a couch set up down there. We've got the coffee bar. We need to have some outlets put in because I want to move some stuff around. But we've got like a table for puzzles and games, and the door's off now, so the cats have free roam, which is a little scary, but I am in a closed off room right now because I had them in here while I was trying to organize, and Porter was climbing up here, and I was like, you are going to demolish his eyes on the sparrow, so you can't go anywhere near it. And they're just bad. They're huge. They're adorable. I love them a lot. And it's amazing because Porter totally channels Pandemonium, and what's my other cat's name? Ale totally channels Mayhem. Like, it's ridiculous the amount of things that they do that are like similar to their predecessors. So it's been really good having them, and I'm really glad for like time at home to be able to get to know them and like enjoy that. But I'm going to do this rambling part at the beginning of this, and if you don't want to watch it, just fast forward till I start showing stitching and stash and things. I have things, like I said, all around me. It's just been a crazy time. I think I went back, it's been like 2 months. I think I filmed at the end of October, the beginning of November last time. So a lot has happened, and I've accomplished a lot. I'm trying to get like all my stuff kind of tracked. I know there's been a lot. It is January 18th, in case anyone doesn't know when this is. I don't know if it probably won't get posted till tomorrow, because I still don't know how to edit these. So I'm going to be at Brandon's mercy and have him do it before he goes to bed tomorrow morning. But this is, I'm going to breathe. Do a lot of that with work. We are very body conscious, and well, not body conscious, but like breathing settles and calms, and I'm feeling a little like anxiety ridden right now, just because I don't do this enough. So it's January 18th. I finished the year out and I have like my stats for it, and I was going to do whip parade, but everybody's doing whip parades right now. So I figured what I would do is kind of follow up on my under 40 by 40 goal, which will be not until next February. So this February will mark a year out. So I'm going to do a parade then so that you can see how much I've accomplished and still have to accomplish since I'm still starting crazy big projects. And then I have to like figure out what my starts for the year of massive 82 starts. So I was at the cross stitch store today and they were like, 82 starts, really? I was like, yeah, well, when you're known for starting 31 at a time, that, you know, what are you going to do? You got to go big. So end of the year happened, put out the new 24 hours of cross stitch planners. I do have them both here because there are a couple different varieties this year. So if you haven't seen it in our Facebook group or on my Instagram or stuff, the planner is out. It is available on my Etsy shop. It has kind of expanded a bit from last year. So there are two varieties. There is a printable variety. I'm not going to do a full walkthrough right now. I'm just going to kind of briefly show you real quick what I've got going. And then I'm working on hopefully tomorrow figuring out a way to do a walkthrough of it with you a little bit more in depth, but I'm going to make that a separate video for those of you that are not planner people and have no interest in what I'm talking about, so that you don't have to worry, because today's video is mostly going to be floss tubes, stitching plans, what I've been stitching, show you some finishes, but there's always a little bit of housekeeping and catch up. So 24-hour planner, there is the printable version. I have mine printed out and put into an ARC notebook. It has most of the same features as last year. Each month is going to have planning pages. There are acrostics, holidays, the calendar tracker. There's a bonus page that has like an extra additional quote plus a habit tracker to track your stitching for the month, your goal progress, things like that. So I have all of that kind of, you know, you can track your finishes, you can track your expenses, and then it goes into the months where you can see your plans, the holidays, the acrostics this year. I don't know if I've said it on here. We're doing a this or that theme. So it's, you pick which one you want. So like January's is either a monogamous X's or serial starts, and you can pick. If you're a mixture of the two, just pick a combo of the letters from the two. So and there's acrostics for all the months. I also released a bunch of add-on packs. So there's add-on packs that there's a calendars add-on pack, which offers like a 2-page calendar spread. And like the weekly dated planner. There's a trackers pack, which has like additional habit trackers. There's a whole bunch of things in it. Chronological rotation plus like a daily, if you do a weekday rotation, there's a tracker in there for that. And then an inventory list where I've got some floss inventories for you, plus pattern inventories that have like the letters, so you can organize it by, you know, designer or title of your product, you know, the patterns, plus a fabric inventory sheet. And then there's a friends one that has a contact book list, recipe list, and like a SAL tracker. And I've had some feedback that people are looking for like SAL trackers a little bit more, like for those of you that are doing like monthly release SALs. So I am working on a page for that. I just haven't gotten it completely done yet because I don't do a whole lot of those, so my mind has to wrap around how I would organize it. In addition to the printout planner this year, I also released one for the digitally. So those of you that are digital planners, this is not for like, it's not an editable PDF. So if you plan on a computer and you want to be able to type in all your stuff, that's not really what this is. It's for people that use like the programs like GoodNotes is an iPad program, works on iOS. NoteShelf, I think, is one that works on Android. It works with both of those apps. So pretty much any PDF like annotation, and we'll pretend I said that word right, app it will work with, but it's really meant for like the people that plan on a tablet with a pencil stylus. So I use mine in, I I just upgraded my iPad to one of the iPad Pros, and oh my goodness, I'm loving it. So give me 1 second to cue this up. And I'll show you a little bit how it works. So if you are a digital planner person, I've got it here, and then all of these things are links. So you can click, so it's set up kind of like a notebook, and you can click and then you can go into the planner and you can go to January, and you can see you've got your calendar, and then you can slide through. You've got your weekly planner. I've got some stuff filled in on mine. Your plans for the month, your acrostic, your holidays. This is the bonus page. I've got an extra habit tracker in there, end of the month recap, plus notes, plus our to-dos notes, and a blank grid for if you need to chart anything out. So that's included for each month. Plus it has all of the additional add-ons for all the packs, because I'm fairly comfortable with digital planning, but I'm new to the, what am I new to? I'm new to like setting it up. Like once it's in my app, I don't know how you add to it. So I wanted to make sure it was a fully functional thing, that you had everything you were going to want to do. You can add extra pages into it. And I figured out, and there's a whole section just for you with blank tabs that you can add in. So each one is sectioned. I have my WIP going stuff in there with pages that I've made. Those are not included. I forgot that this was my version and not what you guys have, but it has, and there's a ton of links on it. So you can, if you have, for instance, if you want to be tracking your new starts for the year, there's this list here for new starts. And then if you click here, it's going to take you to a page where you can see all of the details for that new start. And then I also have one for things that were existing starts. So if you go to the WIP list section, this has your existing starts. These are all of mine. And if you click on here, it's going to take you to a page very similarly, but it says existing projects, and they all link to that individual one. So I think there's 48 individual numbers, and then there's pages where you can duplicate and just do, you write the numbers in and it'll take you to that section. So if you're a digital planner person, there's a lot of content there, but all these things are available in my Etsy shop. I am going to do, maybe hopefully tomorrow, if I can figure out how, if there's interest. So please tell me if there's not, I don't need to film it, but kind of how I'm using my digital planner, and like a kind of tutorial, especially it'll be geared more to GoodNotes just because that's what I use. However, I am comfortable in Noteshelf, but I like Noteshelf a little bit better sometimes because you don't have to click in and out with the links. But anyway, if you're a planner person, those are available. That was a huge factor in my life over November, December. But thank you to those of you that have supported my Etsy shop. Again, I have played with creating trackers and materials for years and never had the confidence to actually put myself out there. And I cannot believe how much you guys have supported me and how encouraging you have been with it. So thank you. My mind works like tracking things. In fact, I'm known at work. They're like, if we could just create a job at our job that is just making forms and like figuring out the best way to like organize this stuff and the easiest way to do it, we would give it to you. And I'm like, can somebody figure out that job? Because that kind of sounds like ideally what I should do in my life. But, this has been a fun side business, and I'm really looking now into just kind of seeing what I can do to expand and where I can take it. So thank you for the push, for the encouragement. You know, it was, again, years and years that I have made my own planners and that kind of stuff. So if you're a planner person and have ideas that you would like to see on tracking forms, I'm always open for more ideas. I think it's lent itself really well to cross stitch because I know cross stitch and I know how I organize it. And like I said, these are set up like my mind works, which is a scary, scary place. But if it works for you, I'm glad to be able to put some organization out there. That is not to say that I am the most organized person or that I think logically or that my house is not a current disaster. But I enjoy it. So that's where we're at now. I'm planning to use both versions of the planner because I know I put out the printable version first and people were like, then I put the digital and they're like, well, I already got the printable. And you can load the printable planner into a program like GoodNotes and use it the same way, except it won't have the links. So it will just bring those pages in. I'm using both. So I'm planning to, when I'm using my digital, it's like the planning part of it, and then the printout is like, this is what happened. This is like actual, because I change my mind a lot, and I'm the type of person that once I write something, if it doesn't A, look right, I have to erase it, or B, doesn't like have the same consistency throughout, I have to reprint everything out. And I really don't want to keep printing the same page over and over and over again because I wrote my E the wrong way. But I do a lot. So I'm trying to be a little more resourceful with that. And I don't know why I like to have a record. I got my mom an iPad for Christmas. Well, I didn't get an iPad from my mom. My dad got my mom an iPad for Christmas that I convinced him that she needed to have so that she could help me test some of these things, because I'd talk to her about my planner and be like, and this link goes here. And she'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, it would be helpful if I had somebody that actually understood what I was talking about. So we got her that. I had somebody on Instagram that was like, I think it was Instagram, it was like, maybe you can film you teaching your mom as a tutorial, because I'm learning just where she is. And I love that idea. So we may end up doing that too. We'll see. But okay, that's all about the planner. Then we've got 24 hours this weekend. How are we already at our first marathon for this year? I have no idea. Time just goes. It just is so fast. So I believe we are going to be doing it at my house this time. So we've planned to hopefully be down in the basement and just make that a cozy stitching spot, and my mom can sleep down there, and we're probably not going to try for consecutive. I am going to take Friday off work. My boss doesn't know that yet, but that shouldn't be a problem. So I am taking Friday off planned, unless I can't see why I wouldn't be able to. So we're planning to get started early on Friday morning. And I will show you, we started a new project, and it's actually going to be our 24-hour project all year long. Because it's a this or that theme. So the theme of the year for us, because I have to have a theme and a rhyme and a reason for anything I do, is this or that. And so my mom and I decided we'll start a sal together, and we started Consider the Lilies, since we both did His Eyes on the Sparrow together, and we finished it this year, both of us. And we decided we would swap it. So His Eyes on the Sparrow, I did on 36 count with the overdites, and she did on 40 count with DMC. This time I'm doing Consider the Lilies on 40 count with the overdites, and she's doing hers on, I think it's a 35 count with the DMC. So we're gonna flip flop so that mine will be this a little bit smaller, hers will be a little bit bigger. And then we're only stitching on it when we're together. So we've been doing Sundays together just to do it. And there's a Stitch Lilies on Sunday sale going on. So we hopped on board with that, and we're going to work on it all weekend for this first marathon. So we are deciding now what our entertainment is going to be, and I think we've got a good plan, but I'll put it out there for you guys too, anybody that's watching this before the 24th. We're planning to do our movies again, but what we wanted to do was we wanted to pick like a category. So like, for instance, a movie that involves time travel, right? And then I'll pick my favorite movie from that genre or from that category, and she'll pick her favorite, and we're gonna not tell each other what they are, and we're gonna and then we'll watch those two movies. So, or if they're the same, we'll just watch one of them. But we're gonna actually put down our first and second choice, and then go from there. So we came up with a list of like 30 different categories, like not just movie genres, but like, you know, favorite childhood movie, or the movie that evokes memories from seeing it in the theater, or something like that. So if you can think of anything clever that we might want to add in, we're figuring we'll continue this all year, since we've got like a list of 30 anyway. We're always looking for things to watch, and then we never remember what we want to watch. And so I think this will be fun, but we're gonna not tell each other. So I'll have no idea what movies she's going to make me watch. Sometimes we have very similar tastes in movies, and sometimes we have very, very, very different tastes. We'll see. She might be subjected to some of my goodies. So what else has been going on? Brandon and I joined HelloFresh, so I've been cooking a little bit more. I've been struggling a bunch because I love to cook, and I've done Whole30s, and I'm really comfortable in the kitchen, but I have been out of sync, and I can't think of anything to cook, and I keep, like, I'm in a new kitchen, and I'm trying to, it can't be new anymore. We bought the house in April. It's now January. But, you know, it's just getting acclimated to all of the new things. So I decided, you know, I can't, and then not being out at grocery stores like consistently and doing the, you know, pickup and stuff, you don't always get what you want. So I decided I just needed to limit grocery stores for right now, and we're trying HelloFresh. So we've loved it so far. We did 3 meals last week, and we've done 2 this week. I have 1 to do, but it looked like my sour cream like exploded. I don't know. I may just freeze the steak and try it again later with something else as a side, because I didn't really look at the sides. So last time we had like 3 meals with mashed potatoes, and I'm tired of making mashed potatoes. So I don't know. We'll see. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to cook tonight. I need to, because I bought 4 meals for this week, and then it's Monday already, and I'm not even planning for this week's that came today, because it's not supposed to come till Tuesday, but it came today. And then we have 24 this weekend, so I'm not cooking then, and I don't want stuff to go bad. Did I get 4 meals? I think so. I think I got 4 meals this week. So, but we bumped it down. We were doing 3 meals with 4 servings. That was too much. I don't really like leftovers. He doesn't really like leftovers. We were like, why are we cooking so much food? So we decided I would rather cook more often and less servings. Doing HelloFresh, I've enjoyed it. I think it's worth it. I've been impressed, except for my exploding sour cream, and I don't know what happened with that, but that could have been my fridge. I'm not sure. So that's been happening. Animals are all good. Like I said, we need to just get into showing some stitching, I think. I wanted to go, so my plan is I'm going to show you stash, and then I'm going to show you a couple of things that people sent that I have neglected to have near me. I know there are more things, and they are not near me now either, so if I have not shown it yet, I will. And then I'm going to show you a couple new starts, my WIPS, my finishes, and then I have a pile of framed things that have not been shown yet. So that's my plan. So if you're not here for the interest, I wanted to go over my stats. So last year, I'm not going to go through. Everybody knows I have 1,000 starts. That's things that Jen does. So last year I had a whole bunch of WIPs going. My goal is to be under 40 WIPs by my 40th birthday, which is 2/22. Well, it'll be February 22nd of 2022. So not this February, but next February. So not panicking that I still have a bunch to go. And then my plan for the year, my 40th year, is to start 82 things. I think I alluded to that earlier. But I ended the year, where is it? Wrong spreadsheet. Last year I had 49 finishes. I'm not terribly upset about that. I was going for a while where I didn't think I was going to have any finishes. Like it took me a long time to kind of see progress, and then December I had a whole bunch of finishes. Oh wow. I got a lot of finishes to show you guys. So that is leaving me. That means when I finished 2020, I had 66 WIPs. Terrible. I've started 2 things. That takes me, I'm at 68 currently. I have another huge one planned. So that'll be 69. But I have one that should be able to be finished. I have one more finish over here that is not in my couple of finishes. I didn't grab my Prairie Schooler Santa finishes. So I'll save those for next time. But let's go ahead. So today is the 18th of January, so I was off work. So I ended up, my mom and I got up and we went to Crafty U in Cleveland. So I have been panicking a little bit about fabric because if I'm going to start 82 things, granted they're not all going to be huge, I need to make sure my fabric stash is up and ready to go. And also I'm planning to start Prairie Schooler ABCs with my friend Laura, who I thought we weren't starting. That's who I'm doing the Halloween at Hawk Run with. I thought we weren't going to start it until we finished Halloween. And then she's showing me and I'm like, what pattern is that? And then before I asked her, I was like, oh, are we starting that now? And she's like, oh, we don't have to. I was like, no, it's fine. We can. I just have to get fabric. So that was the beginning of January. And so I ordered fabric from online because I needed like a yard of it because I'm going to do it 9 across by 3 down. So because with the ampersand, it's 27 blocks. So I was like, that'll work. 3 rows of 9 is 27. And so I was going to get a yard. And then I got notification for the shipping that it wasn't going to be shipped until April. So I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do. So we ended up at Crafty U today because I went to Craft Gallery earlier in the month, but go earlier in the month? Yeah. Or maybe the end of December. We went there sometime and got a bunch of fabric, but I didn't get any pieces big enough. And so I didn't see anything that I thought would work for Prairie Schooler ABCs because I was looking. But I have some stash that I got from that trip too. So when I was there, I picked so all of my stash today is fabric. I don't have any patterns pulled to show. I don't know how much new I've gotten. So I've got this piece of pear. And when I buy fabric, I tend to just buy a big piece because I know I'm going to be able to cut it to size. I got some 36 count vellum by Picture This Plus, which is really pretty. I definitely, I like the modeled look a lot more than I ever thought I would. But I like muted tones. I'm fairly consistent with my wanting it to be muted. Got this piece of Exemplar. I think is also a 36 count. That color is not even close to showing what it actually is. It's beautiful. I love Exemplar. I really decided I really do like stitching on 36 count, so I'm trying to beef up that stash. And then today at Crafty U, picked up a piece of 36 count Meadow Rue by Lakeside. Basically, if I see Lakeside, I'm like, it's not a color that I have a lot of. I'm getting it. Lakeside, this was vintage Starflower. I do a lot on Starflower. Actually, the piece for Consider the Lilies I'm doing on Starflower, but that I got at Craft Gallery. But it was not vintage, and it's a lot darker. So not a lot darker, but it's a darker color. I got a piece of the Lakeside Fawn. Big cut. I think it's a half yard. This Lakeside Bisque. I hadn't seen this one before. It's very just neutral, but I liked it a lot. I got, this is a vintage buttercream by Lakeside. And these are either 36 or 40 count. Most of them are 36. I got this Picture This Plus Fawn, which is really pretty. And then I got a big piece. I'm not usually a Weeks Dye Works fabric stitcher, but I do like Dove a lot, so I got a big piece of Dove because I think the consistency of it has been okay in the past for me. And then I decided, my mom got a big piece, a cut of the 40 count Country Mocha, and that's what I'm going to do Prairie Schooler on because it can get wet. I can not have to worry about keeping it super that's what I decided to do Prairie Schoolers. Santa. No, ABCs, not Santas. I'm doing them, but they're all little pieces. I wanted to show you guys, I said, I think in the last video that Jamie, Cricket Bug, sent me some floss keeps and things like that. So as I'm gearing my mind up to start kidding again, I pulled these out to show you guys. Aren't these cool? So she sent some. I'm not going to show you all of them. Look at these keys. I love it. So, which is awesome because I did purchase a Cricut and I have a Cricut, and then my friend Allison was so gracious and shared the wealth a little bit with a Cameo silhouette. So I have cutting tools to be able to play and get some of that stuff. So yeah. She also sent a bunch of other goodies, like a whole bag full of like zipper pulls and things that I'm going to be able to do. Also, I never showed this, and I felt so bad when I realized I hadn't shown it. Barb from Lost and Floss sent me this, and I just love it. Look at how cute the finishing is on the back. Thank you so much, Barb. It was so nice. I do. I love it. And my mom got me a dough bowl, so I'm trying. Well, she's gonna have to finish everything since I don't finish anything. I need to learn. I'm hoping with this room here that I will like actually use my sewing machine and do things. My hair is growing out, guys. I haven't decided if I'm going to cut it again or keep it up, but it doesn't like product, and it doesn't like doing anything that I want it to do because it's not like cut to shape. So I think I probably am going to have to buzz it down one more time, and then hopefully I'll be able to feel comfortable getting out to get it like shaped up. It was kind of cute. It was like a faux hawk at work the other day, and my coworkers were like, "What's going on with your hair, Jen?" It's like, "Oh, am I too old to do this?" Yeah, probably. They were like, "It's not that. It's just like, if it was an actual faux hawk, it would be okay. But it's like," and I was like, "Well, it won't lay down. I don't know what to do with it." So, probably another reason why I put off filming is because I'm like, my hair, I don't know what's happening with it. I haven't decided. So, that's my stash. Fabric is all of what I want. I am just trying to pick it up as I go because I am scared I won't have it when I want to start things. And it doesn't go bad. So it's better than spending my money on food I'm gonna throw away. Right? Is that how, do you guys justify your spending on stash like that? Let's actually see some stitching now that we're half an hour in. Okay, new starts. 2 new starts since the beginning of the year. This was my New Year new start. It is It Will Be Okay by Birdhouse Stitchery. It is, I don't know how to say the first word, but something beseder. And I learned Hebrew when I was in high school, and I got really, not that there's vowels on this for me to use, but I don't read the vowels, and I can kind of make sounds out of it, but I don't read English phonetically. So for me to read Hebrew phonetically, it's not going to work. But I was so excited. Zippy Zax was stitching this, and I saw it, and I was like, I have no Hebrew in my house. Like, how is that possible? I've got it tattooed all over me, but I don't have anything stitched that represents that part of my life and my heritage and me. See, this is, I can't read phonetically, so I can't even tell you what that says. I know this word only because I know that that's what it says there. Hebrew goes backwards, so this word is there and that word is there. So Zippy Zax was very gracious, and she was stitching it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love that. And so she sent it to me when she finished it. And I'm doing it, it's really, lighting's not going to be good for this, but I'm doing it on it's the color that I did Merry Xmas from Prairie Moon on. It's a 32 count. It's like a blue, it's very see-through, you can see. So very open weave. I don't generally do 32 count, but I'm using a silk, so I'm just using 1 strand. The orange is Rusty Amber by Thread Gatherer, and the the gray is the Arroyo, which is the whale in Riley Harbor. And so I'm just using Stash for it. It looks a lot better in person where you don't see me through it. But I'm enjoying it so far. I've only worked on it one day. So I'm thinking this is going to be my downstairs project, that I'm going to have 2 downstairs projects, and I'll talk about the other one in a little bit. But I think it will go down there and just be when I'm like watching a movie with Brandon or doing something down there, and needing a break from my regular stitchy spot. So I'm enjoying it so much. Birdhouse Stitchery, they do have an Etsy shop, although I think it's also available on 123 Stitch. My second new start, Consider the Lilies. Already talked about that, working on it with my mom. You're going to see a lot of it during our 24-hour weekend this weekend, because that's all we're going to be working on. I'm doing mine on 40 count Starflower by Lakeside. I got a huge piece of it at Craft Gallery, and I got my border in. So we've had 3 Sundays to work on it so far. And you're going to see I'm very competitive. Apparently, I'm more than I realized. I thought my mom, she's doing hers with DMC. I'm doing mine with the Oberdides. And so I wanted to get all of the Oscar around the outside done. And you stitch a little differently when you're doing Oberdides than DMC. You don't have to worry, I stitch in like segment kind of parts. I don't do individual stitches, but some people do. But I didn't want to like leave everything uncrossed and have to come back with a different skein, just in case it was like a little bit off. But I also didn't really want a whole section undone, so ended up. But I'm not usually a border stitcher. It's a little bit rare for me, but I'm waiting on a few floss colors, and so I didn't want to start the inside until I had those colors, which was also part of the reason why we went out to Crafty U today, because I've ordered them, but they're not here yet. And I'm like, I need these colors for the marathon because I can't continue this border. I'm tired of the flowers. They take a long time. There's 40 of them and they're not all the same color. Like his eyes on the sparrow, the whole border is the same color. So it was, this one, they're kind of jumping and there's not really a pattern to it. So I was like, okay, I've got to do this. But I have a bunch of the flowers done, and then I got bored of the flowers on Sunday, so I started doing motifs there that I knew I'd hopefully have the floss for. Can't find Brother in Blue anywhere. I have a couple skeins. I have 2 skeins partial, but they're very different colors, so I'm not sure if I'm going to use it or just sub in. I'm nervous if I finish it and it's been dyed and it's not consistent that I won't like it. However, with something like this where the pieces are so sporadically around and it's not like a house that's all the same color, I think it's okay. So those are my 2 new starts. And now I'm going to go back. These are my WIPs, and it's not like full chronological order because I don't have a list written down. But this is what I've been working on since I last filmed. There were probably some other things too, but these are the ones that were like kind of notable. So I spent all of November working on a peacock, a unicorn, and a badger. I didn't mean to, but it just kind of happened. And I didn't put it down. And I can't wait to pick it back up. So I have all of the little motifs done and outlined. And it's going to be a lot of fill-in. It reminds me of a coloring book now. So I really, really want this piece done this year. So it is going to get some focus. I'm just not sure when. But I think it's definitely feasible. I still have not decided what I'm doing in the water section on the bottom because it calls for satin stitches and I don't like satin stitches. I like cross stitch because I like X's. So I think I'm going to change it, but I'm going to save it till the end to decide. So, I love this. And it's so not a typical Jen thing, but it's beautiful. And Abby's doing hers. Is doing hers with a conversion. Mine is just on 40 count. It's probably just like a natural. I don't know what kind of linen it is, but since you're only going to see a little bit on the frame, I didn't care. And I'm using the DMCs. Abby's is gorgeous. And she's gotten a ton done. She started it for her birthday, which is what sparked me to just keep mine out. So I loved it. I guess you saw some of it because I worked on it pretty much all the last marathon, which was that in November? Was it? I think so. I don't remember. I think I kept it out and kept working on it. At some point, I pulled out Quaker Seasons of Friendship. Started this with Diana, not this January, but last January. I don't remember what color fabric this is. I didn't look. Oh, it goes this way. So I got some more done on it. I spent a couple days on it. I'm doing it with one color. I'm doing it with Otter Creek by Gast. So you can see that's, no, you can't see that because it's folding. I don't know where the camera is on this. That's pretty. I like it. I can tell you what fabric I'm doing on. 1 second, please. I should have this list just open when I'm going to film so that when my mind blanks, I can. Okay, so Quaker Seasons of Friendship, that is 40 count pecan butter. Pecan, Brandon will get mad at me if I don't say it as pecan. This one is almost finished and it will be done very soon. That baby is creepy and I don't really understand why it is on the picture. But this is Home Is by Poppy Creations and I started this for Madness in 2019. And this is where I'm at. I am going to be changing it a little bit. I was originally going to have it say Live Awkwardly because of some holiday that I was stitching it for. It was to try to tie it into Madness. I'm not going to. I'm going to actually customize each of these. Brandon and I, since we've been married, we have lived in 6 different locations where our driver's licenses have been. So I'm going to have the house numbers, I believe, on the roofs. So ending with our house here. And then these will represent the future houses that we will live in. And so I'm thinking, and feedback, guys, because I want this finished this month, but I'm either going to put like established 2010, because that's when we got married, or I don't know what saying I want to have here. In the pattern, it says is where your story begins, and then down at the bottom, it says live simply. I don't want to do that. So I'm thinking like est.2010 here, and then I don't know if it really needs anything down there. I don't know, thoughts? I like it. They're fun little houses to stitch. Lots of floss called for though, and I would probably, if I were going to recommend anybody to stitch it, necessarily just do it as a stash thing. But now I built my stash because you only use like, I mean, I did it on 40 count, so you don't use a whole lot of thread for each one. So I'll get it finished this month. Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. I have been working on this and goal is a block a month, stitching this as a stitch along with my friend Laura. I am meeting my goal. I think having that monthly goal is good, and having her be my accountability is better. This is a 40 count. I believe it's by Silk Weaver, Purely Primitive. This last month, I think the last time I showed it to you, I was working on the Witches, which was the double block. I finished the Swamp down there, and I finished the Headless Horseman up there. I am doing a stash conversion, so I pulled the DMC and then I compared it to what I had in my stash and I just changed it up. So I just wanted to use everything that I had in the house. So it's definitely not totally done. It was one of my acrostic goals this month to get my thing done, and then my other goal was to get all the frames in. So I'm super excited that I don't have to spend time now. There are 4 more blocks, and I'm thinking I might try to do 2 next month because or at least 1.5, because I don't think I'm going to work on it during March, because I'm still finalizing my madness plans for this year, without making myself start 31 things, because if I really want to get down under 40 projects, I have to start stopping some things. But like, that's really close to a finish. That'll definitely be finished this year, especially if I'm doing a block a month. I started and was all set to do WIPGO, and I've decided that I may need to take a back seat to it or rethink my board, because my original goal, I put in all my big projects. If you don't know what WIPGO is, check out Jessie Marie Does Stuff. You make a bingo type board, and then each month she calls 2 numbers, and you try to make, you set your goals. It's very free, open-ended. And then you try to make bingo, and you can reward yourself when you make your bingos. It doesn't have to be done the month that it's called, sometime throughout the year. So I put all my big projects and was like, 5 days. Well, there's 25 blocks. One of them is a freebie, but that's 24 projects, 5 days. That's a lot of days for me to only be working on my big projects. So I was like, I can't devote that much time out of the year to this, for these projects that aren't going to get finished this year when I want to get under 40. So I amended it to be 5 hours, and then I did 5 hours on this project, which is Jack's Bash, by Plum Street. But I don't like tracking time. So I don't know how I want to track what I'm working on or how I'm going to do it. So I haven't totally said that I'm not going to do it yet, but I have to rethink how it's going to go. But anyway, it got me to pull out Jack's Bash, which I really enjoyed. I'm stitching this on 46 count Properly Primitive by Under the Sea, which I love the fabric. 46 count was going pretty slow for me though. So I got a lot done this. I did 2 days because my 5 hours wasn't quite done that first day. All I had at the beginning was to the base of that flower. So got some decent progress. I enjoyed working on it. I don't know what I'm going to do for the over 1 portions. I don't know. So as I was contemplating this whole tracking how much I'm stitching and not wanting to track time, my mind started going, as it does, because I constantly am thinking things. And I wanted to think of a way that I could maybe watch X-Files. And, you know, I can't just sit and watch X-Files because I'm me. I have to have a rhyme or a reason of what I'm doing. And I'm not really watching that much TV anymore. I think I mentioned in my last video that I'm really into audiobooks right now. So I ended up last year, my Goodreads goal was 50. I think I ended up with 82. I throw an audiobook on. I listen to it at double speed. And I finished like 14 already this year. So I'm loving audiobooks, and it's definitely like keeping me going while I'm stitching. I'm liking the not having to look up and just kind of be able to zone out. So, but I wanted like a show, not necessarily to sit and binge and try to get through it the fastest I could. But I was thinking about rewatching X-Files. And so I was like, oh, what if I have a project that I take downstairs and I stitch on while I'm watching the X-Files, and I'm not trying to binge it, not trying to do anything. So I decided that I would pull out Map of Hawkron Hollow, and this is going to be my X-Files project. And so I put it on Instagram, and everybody's like, oh, I could rewatch the X-Files, or I could do that. And so I'm putting a tag out there with it. So X's with the X-Files is the tag if you're doing it and want to join in. I've only watched 1 episode and stitched once so far, but I think tonight it's going to be what I do after I finish this. And if I decide I'm cooking dinner or not tonight, I probably should. I should cook dinner, right? I joined HelloFresh. I should do it. This is where I'm at on Map of Hawkron Hollow. When I watched the first episode, I was just working on filling in here. So I got some of that done. This is 32 count light mocha with the DMC. And I love the hawk in the DMC. So it's another one I want finished this year. So I think it will get a bunch of love. I enjoy the X-Files a lot. I've watched them. I have episodes that like just scream me and make me laugh, and I like the funny ones the best. The one with the bleepity bleep 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 is my absolute favorite. I don't know what Jose Chung's outer space or something. I don't know. We don't need to talk about my nerdy television preferences, but I can't watch 1,000 of them in a row. So I felt like it would be a good show to just kind of pace myself with. So I think my mom's going to be doing it. She was either going to start something new. She's finished like every project she has. I don't know how she's done it. Probably because she doesn't switch all the time like I do. My coffee's gone. My throat is dry. Not used to talking this much. So one other WIP. I'm just going to stop trying to think too much. Jenny Bean's Friendship Sampler. Started this for Madness 2019. And I've been working on it for the past few days. My goal was 4 days. I missed my daily progression rotation where I was doing 5 days, like my size category progression. So how that works is I figure out the size of my projects based on, if you're new to my channel, I figure out the size of my projects based on Stitch from Stash guidelines. So you do the stitch counts width by height, add them together, divide by 2. So I have that, like if it's under 50, it's a mini. If it's between 51 or if it's 50 to 99, it's a small. 100 to 149 is a medium. 150 to 249 is a large. And then anything above 250 is a big ass project for me. And then when I was thinking of size rotations, I was going to do a day on a mini, 2 days on a small, 3 days on a medium, 4 on a large, 5 on a big ass project. And I really liked that, but I wasn't, and this was my problem with WIPGO, was that I took all these big ass projects and I was giving them 5 days, but it was too many big ass projects for me to say I'm going to regularly cycle through. Because if you look at a month, that's then 10 days out of my month. I'm doing a block from Hawk Run that generally takes between 3 and 6, depending on the coverage for me and how much stitching time I have. I'm devoting Sundays to Consider the Lilies. I just was running out of days and I was like, I'm never going to be able to work on things that need to get finished. So that's why I have to figure out my plan again. And this is why I like planning on the iPad, because now I don't have to rewrite everything. I mean, I have to rewrite it, but I don't have to reprint it all out and do it again. Jenny Bean's Friendship Sampler, I'm doing on 36 count Mallow, something like that, by Picture This Plus, with the called for colors. I had the top house done and none of the bottom. So I got all the bottom done. Yeah, liking it. I like stitching houses. I don't really know why. My pattern is really hard to read though. That first page, I think the printer must have been like low on ink or something, because the second page I have no problem with, but the first page is tough. So struggling a bit. So those are the WIPs that I've been working on fairly consistently. Like I said, I'm not going to be doing I forgot to talk about these things, so I'm going to backtrack just a second. I'm not doing a WIP parade until my birthday, and then I will do a WIP parade. But as I was going through my projects for the year, there were 2 that just were screaming to me, these are not, I don't want to work on them. Like whenever I would think about them, they just brought me anxiety and angst and just didn't want to do it. So I am abandoning 2 projects, which is not typical for me. I usually will just push through and finish it. The first one that I've decided to just abandon is this Spot of Autumn by the Drawn Thread. I started it for that very first 24 hours. It is a little project and I cannot make myself want to do it. It has a ton of specialty stitches. I just can't do it. I have no desire. It just, every time it would like come up on a spin or anything like that when I was trying to work my way through, it was like, no. So it's just being abandoned. I'm not going to do it. Maybe I'll do it sometime later. I don't know, but I'm unkitting it. I'm not going to have it in the project bag anymore. It's going away. And the second one that I'm abandoning has been a struggle for me. And I've talked about abandoning it in the past. And then I said, no, I'm not going to. It is Yard Hawk Run Hollow. It's not the stitching. I love the stitching. I don't love the DMC conversion at all. I'm very frustrated with it. it doesn't look like this to me. And then I'm not loving the fabric that I chose to do it on. So I'm doing them as individual blocks. It's too big a count and I'm using 2 strands, and I don't like stitching with 2 strands. Mostly I like stitching with 1. And I think my confidence in changing colors has grown a lot since I did this. So I think I'll probably do a stash conversion again for this once Halloween is done. But I believe what I'm going to do is it will be one of my 82 starts that I do come 40th. So, I mean, some of them I have a whole lot done. Some of them I don't. So it's just I'll pull it out and like right now I'm like, oh, they don't look so bad. But then when I start stitching it, I don't like it. So why am I forcing myself to do it? I'm not going to do it. Don't force yourself to stitch things you don't want to stitch. It's okay to say no. My pep talk for the day. So those 2 are getting abandoned. They're out of my counts now. Like I said, I don't do that often. So you aren't going to see me meet my 40 under 40 goal by abandoning all of my projects. That's not how that's going to work. Finishes now, guys. We're almost an hour in and I can't believe I'm still talking. I finished Bent Creek Plum Berry Sampler. This was a Madness 2020 start. Just stitched it with the DMC. I believe it's on 32 count fog. I like these little bird things. I don't know why. Coffee Bean Sampler by Heartstrings. This evoked some funny conversations on Instagram because first of all, I had almost everything done except for the initials. I didn't have the initials done. I didn't have right there done. And I didn't have down here done because B twist fits so perfectly here. And I was like, I'm just going to put J Lee. It's not very long. And then I'm going to Jen Lee up there and then J Lee down here. I just didn't want to do it. And J Lee just makes me think of work because every email I have is J.Lee or JD Lee or whatever. So I decided I wanted to have a coffee quote for in there and held off. And then I could not for the life of me figure out what this AB42 was. And I'm like, I'm a coffee drinker. Does it mean, you know, or AD, it's AD, sorry, AD42. I'm thinking, is it like, was coffee discovered in AD42 or what? So I looked up the hashtag and I think it was Blue Bonnet. She was stitching it and she changed it to 39 or something. And I was like, I bet it's the year, how old the person was when they stitched it. And so I'm like, I wonder if Beth was the 42 when she stitched this. But I didn't want to like assume that. And I mean, I'm looking up everything. When was coffee discovered? When, you know, is there like, I know beer has an IBU and that means like the bitterness content. Does coffee do that? Like, I don't know. I'm racking my brain. It was how old Beth was when it was stitched. But I decided, so I did mine on, it's Old Mill Java, I think, by R&R. It's called 4 Colors. I did my name, the Jen Lee, and then I added some lines because my name's so short. I used to have a very long name. And then I put, the quote is, there is always time for coffee. And I kept it in the light color. I know it's hard to see, but I didn't want the quote to take away from the piece. So I really wanted it to maintain that focus, which is why I kept it there. And then I put my 2020 there because I had already put the 19 down here, which is when I stitched the majority of it, but I finished it in 2020. So I put the 2020 under the flower there where the AD 42 was that evoked such comical laughing. It was fun. Beth Twist got word of it and people were tagging her in it and she was like, oh my goodness, these comments are great. Sir William Black by Scattered Seed Samplers. Gotta finish on him. He can hang next year, maybe. My house is still Halloween, by the way, guys. He can hang next year with Miss Isabel. I stitched him on 40 Count Legacy by Pictures Plus. DMC. Gotta finish on Seeking Refuge. I don't know why I'm showing you the patterns. The finishes are done. Hello. Mom and I started this for one of our marathons during COVID, and got it done. I knew I had to finish it in 2020 because I already had the year in there and I wanted it the right year. I love this piece. The over one was not fun and my mom might have done it for me. Read that as my mom did it for me. Well, I started it. I wasn't using a magnifier. I need to use a magnifier when I'm trying to do over one. I finished this little, what is it? The Blue Snowman by the Little Stitcher. It was in one of the just cross stitch Christmas magazines. That's 35 count mink by R&R. I finished Prairie Moon Merry Xmas. Marcy, that will be coming to you. The mail sucks right now, and so I'm hesitant to put it out there. Also, Jamie, I have some stuff that I'm sending you. Hesitant to put it out there until the mail settles a bit. I have a whole list of things I want to send out, but I'm scared. I mean, it's just taking things forever. This is Merry Xmas. You guys have all heard that this was the piece that got me back into stitching, so very, very happy that it is done. This is that 32 count that I'm doing that it will be okay on. I used the called for silks. Her dress is actually a very muted pink. And I just used one strand of the silks on 32 count. I'm a rebel. Hands-on Designs, March. Started this for Madness 2018. And I started it on this fabric and I didn't like it. I think it's the chalkboard by weeks. I couldn't get my tension right. I was doing individual stitches, was not enjoying it. I restarted it and did it on Black Ada. So it was one of those, like, do I just abandon it or what do I do? And I was like, I don't want to abandon it. So I did it on the Ada. ABC spool. This one's so cute. And it was so, like, it came as a kit. So it's got the spool on it. It took me forever. You know, you wouldn't think this little strip would take so long. But it's so narrow that it was really hard to do. And then like down here, the way I spaced it, like that only had like, I don't really, but I didn't want to put it up another row because the majority of them don't go down. So I don't know, I'm happy with it. I think I used the Gast Ruby slipper for mine. Just pulled it right out. I finished, this was another one that took me forever. Winter Squirrel by the Victoria Sampler. Why this took so long? This is Dove by Weeks Dye Works and is one of the reasons why I bought that big piece because I loved it. My mom actually did the leaves because I just couldn't see it and I couldn't get it, and it's like, it's this little thing, it's like 35, it counts as a mini and it's taken me like how many days to do. He's cute though. I didn't put the beads on it. I'm not a bead person. And I finished, this one is good to have a pattern because it finishes as a needle book. And my mom figured out, since she does my finishing, she's my guru with telling me how to stitch things and how much space to leave and whatnot. She figured out how to do it and just on one piece of linen, and then to fold, she'll fold it somehow. I don't know. But so there's going to be the outside of it, and then the inside for the needles. And she has her like, I don't know if I was allowed to pull those out yet, so I left them in for her for finishing. So that one got done. This is 36 count Heartland by Picture This Plus. So those are some of my finishes. I feel like I was fairly productive in November and December. But I also have some frame pieces. I will cut you by, why am I blanking, Lucy Beam. I just started this one the day I shaved my head. As a buzzed my head, I didn't totally. It will go somewhere in my craft room. I haven't decided. Originally, I was going to do it over the door on the outside, but I'm not sure yet. Got Halloween Quaker. This is by Needle Art by Wen from the Heart, Needle Art. I love this green. And I did a stash conversion for the colors on both of these. Isn't this frame perfect though? Isn't that great? And I messed up the top border here, so I just amended and put my initials there. It made for framing very fun for my mom, I heard, after the fact. Okay, this closer. This is My Friend's House by Blackbird. This was done on a 36 count something. I don't remember. Isn't that frame great? I think my mom was sad that I liked it. It's an oldie. This is my Pandemonium. I love it. It's perfect for her. I think she'll go in my bedroom. Since she wasn't ever allowed in it when she was alive, since she liked to knock things off. Winter, that was Cat on a Rug by Stitchin' Needs, I think. This is Winter Cometh by Summerhouse Stitchworks. Another old frame. Called for DMC on that one. This frame I think is perfect. It's just not great for this. It just fancies it up. Luck by Bent Creek. I love it. I don't plan these things. These were old frames. I mean, the Pandemonium one we bought, the Halloween Quaker one we bought, and the I Will Cut You one I had made, made for it. This one, is that not so cool? Salem Stitcherhood. This is by The Primitive Hare. And she had it. It was a kit from Market several years ago because I think I started it for one of the madnesses. And I'll probably end up putting the strip of fabric that was there in the finished thing, but I love this frame for it. I think it's perfect, and it'll come in my craft room. I've had these sitting and have not shown them, and I cannot believe that. So I've rambled for about an hour, as I do. Lots of finishes, lots of plans going forward. I'm going to just keep trying to stitch through my stuff and make some progress on some of these pieces. You can see behind me, this is how I organize my WIPs. So each one has baskets. So like those are older WIPs. This is like my big, they were my high tea starts. And like I have 7 baskets plus one that has just kid stuff. So I am making my way through. It's gonna get there. I have, big plans. I'm gonna keep starting things. Why not? You only live once. I hope that stitching is being relaxing and bringing you peace, and that it can kind of serve as that reset button for you. I've talked to a lot of people over the past several months where the stresses of today are just eating away, and I'm like, guys, you need to find. I'm a coach for early childhood, and I talk to my teachers, and I'm like, you just gotta take time not doing this. It's hard, and being out in the world every day is hard right now. So please, have something that is your calm. And I find myself just talking to them about cross stitch, and I'm like, they must think I'm crazy, but that's what this is for me. And that's why I pour myself into it. And, why I'm okay having my extra money go to supporting this, because it's kind of like therapy for me. And I hope that it can be that way for you. And I hope that it's not a stressor, because there's just too much out there that's stressors. So that's my little thing. All my coworkers are like, Jen's gonna go stitch now. And I'm like, yes, I am. It's my calm. So I am so grateful for this community and thankful that I have found it and a way to kind of express and realize that this part of me is okay and that I can just do this. So I hope that you have those things to do. You're going to be seeing a lot of me, hopefully this week. If not next week, I'm going to try to do that planner walkthrough. If you have specific questions for either of the 24 hours of cross stitch planners, please contact me. We have not gotten, with Brandon's new work schedule, updating the website has been a chore, and we haven't figured out a good system for it. So that has not been as regular. However, the 24-hour Facebook group has been, is updated consistently. And you can always contact me through my Instagram or my email. Sometimes it goes to junk. Sometimes I'm not the best, but I've been pretty good about checking things like that. So just, get a hold of me. I can help out. I will link everything below, hopefully. I don't know, maybe I won't. That's another thing that gets me all stressed out about doing these, is making lists and doing that. You would think that shouldn't be a reason why I wouldn't film, is that I have to make a list. Because have you met me? Lists are kind of my jam. I've never said that phrase before in my life, so I apologize. But you're going to be seeing a lot of me, because regardless, this weekend we are having 24 hours. My mom and I will be filming our usual, even if it won't get up. It's not aired live or anything like that. We'll see about maybe doing a kickoff. I don't know. We're going to start Friday morning, as is the plan, unless things do not cooperate. So I keep staring off into space because I don't know where to look. And I'm used to having my computer, and it's not my computer. So keep making those X's. Find your calm and just stitch. I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.